If we haven't met, I'm Jennifer Elliott, and this is VinYin or Vinyasa and Yin. And today we're going to be working towards some hip openers and arm balances. I always give options, so do what you need. If you have a strap, grab it and loop it to shoulder width. So if you slide this just above your elbows, you have a nice shoulder width. If you don't have a strap, don't worry, we'll work around it. Grab a couple of blocks if you have them, and we'll get started on our back in a reclined butterfly. So you don't need the blocks, but if I have them, I like to use them for more than one thing. So place those blocks if you'd like underneath the knees. If you don't have blocks and you need a little bit of support, blankets will do. Or you can always start in Shavasana if this is too much for you. So just lie on your back, whether you're in this reclined butterfly or your own beginning pose. Just take a few moments to bring your attention into this space. Let the eyes soften. Jaw unhinges. The tongue softens in the mouth. The routines are really good. They sort of tell your body what you're preparing for. And so you might come to my class for the last few months, or some of you for the last 15 years or so, and I might start the same. But what's good about that is it starts to signal your body to relax, to shift into this mode of practice and out of our mode of the day. So getting out of our heads, out of our workloads, and into our practice, into our bodies. So take a few moments and just scan the body. And do your little routine, whatever it is that helps you to really drop into your body, onto your mat. You can notice the quality of your breath, and anything else that might be coming up for you here. Let's take a nice full inhale through the nose. Open the mouth and let it out. Again, in through the nose. Open the mouth and let it out. In through the nose. Hold. Sip a bit more breath in through the nose. Sip a bit more breath in. Open the mouth and let it out. And take an inhale through the nose. And an exhale back out. Good. Let your breath find its own pattern. You can guide your knees together, bend your knees if the legs are straight. Reach the arms overhead, maybe yawn. Interlace your fingers, turn your palms open, stretch. Arms overhead, change the interlace, reach back behind you again. And then if you haven't already, bend your knees, feet on the floor. Release your arms, cross your right ankle over your left knee, and then place your hands on your thigh bones. Just very physically press your thighs away from you. You're going to feel more movement happen in the right hip. And then hands start to drape around the left thigh as you come in to thread the needle. So from here, see if you can find where center is on your back. Engage your right buttocks. Wrap the buttocks under to steer the right knee away from you. Keep the right toes flexing back, so dorsiflexion. Pull the right toes towards the right knee. And then you might explore taking your left foot up to the ceiling. If you're not ready for that, no big deal. But if you do, press up through the heel. Rebend your left knee. Keep your legs in this figure four, and then we're going to drop our legs to the left into a nice sort of figure four twist. So take your thread the needle, drop it to the left. I like to hold on to my foot with my hand, gently guide that right thigh open, and just take a couple of breaths here. Come back to center. Set your feet down onto the ground. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. Hands on your thigh bones. Again, press your thigh bones away. And feel how this very external movement helps to open up that hip. that left hip, but can then you engage your left buttocks and use that to steer the knee away from you. We did a similar movement, I believe, on Monday. So reach for the right thigh, come up into thread the needle. Keep steering that left knee away from you by engaging the left buttocks. Dorsiflex, flex those left toes back, and then consider straightening up your right leg. Press up through the heel. Rebend, keep your legs in this figure four, and then slowly drop to the right. And if this is not for you, you can stay and thread the needle or take a more traditional twist. Just take a moment here. Find your way back to center. Pull your knees into your chest, hands under the knees, rock forward and back a couple of times. And eventually cross at the ankles, find your way to hands and knees, and we find table pose. So let's take our hands from table pose. Turn the fingertips back so that you're stretching the wrists. The wrists are going to be what we're going to really need to help us be successful in our arm balances later. So already I can feel my left wrist is a little bit inflamed. And so you may feel the same thing. So when you're stretching your wrists, you're moving through your practice, really pay attention because some days the wrists may be really into the arm balance, other days not so much. So come back, open and close the fists a couple of times. And then find your way to table. Moving through cat-cow, inhale, pull the heart forward as you reach the tail back. Scoop the belly in. Exhale, round. Press into the palms, into the shins. Inhale, heart forward, tail back. Exhale, and round. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Shift all the way back to child's pose, forehead down. Keep the arms extended. Really spread wide through your fingers. Root through your inner hands. You're trying to spin your inner arms up, your outer arms down a little bit, but by rooting also through your index finger and thumb to counter that. Come up to hands and knees. Lift the heart. Tuck your toes and lift up and back, down dog, but keep the knees super bent. So with these really bent knees, see if you could push through the palms, lengthen the spine, knit the front ribs in, and turn your seat up towards the ceiling. Let the head relax. See if you can spin the triceps down, biceps up, and then start to pedal out the feet a bit. All right, shift forward into plank. Take care of you. This might be on your knees for these first couple of rounds. Find your breath. So see if you can pull your heart forward, which tends to drop the hips. So then lift the hips, direct your tailbone back just a little bit. So we're still in plank versus down dog, but see if you can lift the hips about a half inch higher than you think you should. Gaze forward, tip forward on the toes, or you can be on knees, and see how slow you can lower to the floor. So think chaturanga arms. So even if you're on the knees like I am, heart and hips come down at the same time. So go slow. Lift the shoulder heads, pull the navel in, come all the way down to your belly. Reach the toes back. Hands are next to your side ribs. Take an inhale, lift the heart, elbows in, and release. Press into the tops of the feet. Again, inhale, lift the heart, pull the navel in, and release. One more on your own. And lower. Press up, hands and knees. And then if you have that strap, grab it, slide it over the elbow. So if you don't have the strap, we'll just do the same thing without, but it goes just above the crease of the elbow. And take down dog, lightly press against the strap. Move into plank. Take a couple of breaths here. Pull the heart forward. Lift the hips about a half an inch. Let's be here for 5 breaths. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, now on 1, tip forward, lower halfway chaturanga. The strap will hammock you. Keep the hips lifted, shoulder heads lifted, navel in. Find your breath. 1 more. Some of you can scrub the toes back, maybe move right into up dog or find down dog. We're going to come out of that. Okay, knees to the ground. Move your straps, so that's just sort of for our reference, so we sort of feel what that's like for later. All right, downward facing dog again. Let's take our right leg, lift it to the height of the hip behind. Start to open up the hip, bend your knee, push your foot behind. Just get a little bit of movement here. And then come to center, square out the leg. Take an inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Pull the knee high to the chest. Inhale the leg back. Exhale, knee to the outer right arm. Maybe you can tap the shoulder. Inhale the leg back. Exhale, knee to nose. Step the foot to the center of the hands. Drop the back knee down. Now this is a little different. You're going to come up like you're moving into Anjaneyasana. But then you're going to kick the back shin back and open up like you're in a warrior two, but you're sort of down on the knee. And I'm moving my right heel in just a little bit to help wrap the right buttock under. And as soon as the heel of that front foot moves in, I really feel that right buttock working. So grow tall, find your breath, open the heart. Couple of breaths here. And then start to lower the hands, bring that back leg in, hinge back, get into the hamstrings a moment. Shift forward, step to plank, top of your push-up. Pause in your push-up. I'm going to grab my blocks as a visual, or you can think about it. If you didn't have that strap, I'm going to use my blocks. So we're going to go back to chaturanga. So tip forward, lower halfway. If your blocks are there, if you just want to use that as a visual, that may help you with lowering. Scrub the toes back, up dog, or find up dog on your own. Down dog. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Just keep taking it to the ceiling. Open up the hip, bend the knee. And then straighten the legs, square out the hips. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale the leg back. Exhale, knee to the outer left shoulder. Inhale back. Exhale, knee to nose. Step right to the center. Drop the back knee down. Inhale, arms rise. Anjaneyasana. Then kick the right shin back, open to the side like it's warrior two. Let the left heel kick in a little bit to help wrap that left buttock under. Open the heart, find your breath. Reach up through the crown. And then lean forward, release the hands, shin comes back, and stretch the hamstrings. Shift forward, step to plank. Tip forward, lower halfway chaturanga, maybe on your own here. Scrub the toes back, lift your chest, downward facing dog. All right, take a couple of breaths here. Really root firmly through the palms. Lengthen the sideways, knit the front ribs in, and try to drive the heels down to the floor. This is that same dorsiflexion that we did when we were flexing the feet in thread the knee. So try to pull the toes up off the floor towards the shins to work that dorsiflexion. Come high to the toes, bend the knees, look forward, step or hop, top of the mat. Come up halfway, chest is forward, and fold. Root to rise, reach the arms to the sky, palms press navel in and up, and exhale, hands to heart. Okay, Surya Namaskar A, here we go. Top of the mat, feet together, little space between the heels. Take an inhale, sweep the arms high. Exhale, forward fold, soften the knees on the way down. Inhale up halfway, shift forward in the feet. Exhale, step to plank, or you might be ready to jump to chaturanga. Move through your vinyasa on your own. We've got 5 breaths here. Use your breath to get back into your body. When we hold our breath, we're usually sort of in our thoughts, and so the breath is a really great way to make you present and anchored back into the physical experience. Inhale, high to the toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, step or hop, top of the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, reach the arms to the sky. Palms press, navel in and up. Exhale, hands to heart. Round two. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. If you're interested, inhale up halfway. Exhale, jump chaturanga, otherwise step plank. Inhale, your back bend. Exhale, down dog. 5 breaths here. Remember, this can always be child's pose. High to your toes, bend your knees, step or hop, top of the mat. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, reach the arms to the sky. Palms press, navel in and up. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay, 3 rounds on your own, Surya A. If you don't know it, just make it up. We'll meet our third down dog. Inhale, lifts. Exhale, usually folds. Follow your breath. You can either jump chaturanga or step plank and lower. Sometimes the mats don't let you scrub the toes back. So if you have to flip over one foot and then the other, that's fine. Just keep track so you can be even with it. At least 3 breaths here in each down dog. Sun salutes are a moving meditation. So link your breath and your movement. When the breath stops, movement stops. I have 1 more round. We'll meet our next down dog. So meet and down dog, you're always welcome to skip that last vinyasa if you want. Okay. So from down dog, now you're welcome to be in child's pose if you want to take a little moment here, but otherwise your feet are hip width. You're gonna bend your knees a lot and cross your right ankle in front of the left knee. So just like that same figure 4. I'm gonna move my foot in just a little bit actually. So dorsiflex the top foot, push into the palms to lift through the hips. Let your chest melt towards the leg. Set that foot down. And then bend your knees, cross the other side, ankle over knee, bend. Keep the top toes, the left toes flexed. And return. Okay, walk to the back of the mat. And then maybe stand on the hands, which is really nice for the wrists. Feel free to bend your knees, very ragdoll. I hear people don't know what ragdoll is anymore, but just make yourself real loose, relax, bend your knees, let the head go. And then if you're able to stand on the hands, scrunch up the toes. If the toes are right at the wrist crease, massage your feet. Massage your hands, rather. All right, remove. Heel toe the feet together, back of the mat. Big toes touch, sliver of space between the heels. Bend your knees, drop your seat, find chair pose, Utkatasana. Shift the weight to the heels. Pick up the toes, so work that dorsiflexion and find something in front of you to focus on. Keep that focus, stand up with the right leg. Open to the right, plant it for tree, Vrikshasana. Take a moment, just push the foot in, press the thigh back. All right, now this may be your pose. You might stay with this tree, Or slide the foot in front of the knee like we've done a few times already. Dorsiflex the foot and press the hips straight back. Find that point in front of you. Where's your drishti? I usually have a spot on my mat or something on the floor that I can use for my focus. Flex the top toes back. Otherwise, you're still in tree pose. So figure 4, chair or tree. Slowly rise. Wherever you are, sit back into chair. Find your focus again. Where's your drishti? Weight in the heels, pick up the toes, lift the navel. Inhale, rise with the left leg. Open it to the left. Plant it for tree, vrikshasana, anywhere but on that knee is fine. Hug the right thigh in. All right, stay here or figure 4. Slide in front of the knee, shift the hips back, dorsiflex that top foot. Pull the chest through. Slowly rise. Sit back chair from wherever you were. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Walk the hands forward. Down dog. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, step it next to the right thumb tip. Stay high on the back toes. Come on up, find crescent lunge. Soften the knee. Take an inhale. And then exhale, drop the back heel down and move into warrior 2. Straighten the right leg, turn both toes out, reach the arms up, and then exhale, bend the knees, sink into your goddess pose. Sink a little bit side to side, find your breath. Center, breathe. Inhale, arms rise as you stand, and exhale, rotate it back to warrior 2 on the right side. Pull the navel in. Lean to the front of your mat, and then see if you can take your arm just in front of the thigh. Press into that arm and reach the top arm high. And sometimes I might hold onto my ankle as I sink into my side lunge. Breathe. Try to wrap the right buttock under. As it wraps under, can you press that left thigh straight back? Sweep the top hand down. Come up onto the back toes. Find your lunge. Inhale. Exhale. Pick up the front toes. Dorsiflex that foot as you pull it back. And try to pull the feet towards one another isometrically. Shift forward lunge. Tip it back. Shift forward lunge. Hands in the ground without making that scraping noise. Root through your palms. Pick up. I couldn't do it. Your right leg. Bring it back into plank. Tip forward, lower halfway chaturanga. Scrub the toes back, drop the other foot naturally, up dog. From the hips, lift. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it next to the left thumb tip. Come high, find your crescent, inhale. Exhale, open, warrior 2. Take a moment here, get set up, the back toes turn in. We're doing a lot of sort of faster movements, and so really pay attention to your feet. So inhale, straighten the legs, turn the toes in to start as you reach the hands up. Turn the toes out and then sink into your goddess pose. You can shift side to side and then find your center. Root to rise, reach the arms high, straighten the legs. Move back into warrior 2 on the left. Back toes turn in just a little bit. Reach forward, drop your hand down inside of the leg, and then take your side angle. Sweep the hand down, come up onto your back toes, lunge, inhale, look forward. Exhale, dorsiflex, pull that front foot back. Try to square your hips by moving that back hip forward. Couple of breaths. Inhale, forward lunge. Exhale, tip it back. Inhale, forward. Okay, take your palms down. We're going to try not to make the scraping noise. I did it. Good. Take that left leg back. Tip forward and move through your vinyasa. The foot drops naturally. Use your hips. Lift. Downward facing dog. All right, find your breath. Gaze up, bend your knees, step or hop outside of the hands. All right, drop your seat. Find Malasana for just a moment. Lift your chest. You can stay here or plant your palms. Lift your hips. I like to walk my feet in. Come high into the toes and try to stick the knees into the armpits. Root through the palms, elbows in like you still have that strap on your elbows. Lean forward as you lift the heart. As you tip forward, try to get your shins to rest on your triceps. Lift your feet. Drop your seat. Pull your chest forward. See if you have that nice 90 degrees, elbows over wrists. And if you'd like, shoot back the feet. Maybe move through your vinyasa. Down dog. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, step it next to the right thumb tip. Rise, warrior one. Open, warrior two. We've been here before. Take a moment. And then inhale, straighten the leg, turn the toes in, reach up. Bend the knees, turn the toes out, sink in. Couple of breaths here. Shift side to side. Then hands on the thighs, drop your chest. You're going to turn towards the right leg by pushing the left hand into the inner thigh gently. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the other side. Good crack. One more on each side on your own. All right, come to center. Take your hands to your heart. Root to rise, reach the arms up. Take the arms out, turn the toes in, firm the outer ankles in. Lead with your chest, tip forward. Let's come all the way down, hands to the ground. Pull your chest through and forward fold. You're welcome to do an inversion here if you feel like doing your tripod headstand. You can even do your blocks under the shoulders if you'd like. Really root, keep those elbows in. Press. Then you can stay or bring the legs all the way up. So you decide what you'd like to do. Wherever you are, we're inverting a couple of breaths. Inhale, gaze up. Exhale, from here, turn to the right. Step back, plank. Choose a vinyasa or go right to down dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it next to the left thumb. Inhale, rise, crescent. Exhale, warrior two. We've been here before. Inhale, straighten the legs, turn the toes in, reach the arms up. And then exhale, toes out, hands down, sink. Find your breath. Inhale, rise. Arms out to the sides. Turn the toes in. Lead with the heart. Forward fold. Maybe interlace the hands. Hello. We'll take a forward fold. If you did tripod in the other room, just do a little looking side to side with your head. Soften the hands. Come up halfway. Turn to face the front of the mat. Step into plank. Choose your flow or go right to down dog. Put your knees on the ground and let's take our blocks, put them in front of us. Okay, downward facing dog again. So inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, step it next to the right thumb tip. Stay high on the back toes. Don't drop the heel down. Stay where you are and drive that heel back. We're going to focus on that a lot today. So pull your chest forward. We're just going to take our blocks, if you have them, place your hands on them, frame your front foot to come up a little bit higher, pushing into the palms. So look forward, move the blocks forward about a foot, pick up the back leg, and I can feel without even looking that my toes are wanting to turn open, my hip wants to open. So I'm going to drop the hip down so that I'm nice and level at the back, and I'm going to lift only from the inner thigh. And I'm going to push that heel back. Those of you who've done this with me, when we have a strap in Warrior 3, we're pushing the heel into that strap, where you can imagine, if you're close enough, you might be able to do it, that you're pushing firmly into the wall, right? So have that experience of pushing straight back. All right, so wherever you are, pressing through that heel, pull your chest forward. And then pull, left knee to your chest, push into your palms. Set the foot down next to your right. Bend your knees, drop your seat, chair pose, find your drishti. Inhale, rise, right knee. Exhale, cross ankle over knee, sit back slowly. Figure 4. Find your chair. Dorsiflex the top toes. Find your drishti. Inhale, rise with the right knee again. Bring it in. And then exhale, send that leg back. Doesn't matter to me what you do with the arms. It can be at your heart, to the side, or even back to those blocks. But push through that back heel. That's our main goal here. Level the pelvis. Really push through that back heel like that's the only thing you care about. And then step way back into a lunge. Way back into down dog. You're welcome to add any vinyasas you like. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, step it next to the left thumb. You've got your blocks, frame your foot, or you don't, hands on the floor is fine. Pull your chest forward. A moment here, the back toes are tucked under. Can you drive back through the heel quite a lot, just to feel what that's like here? And shift those props forward. Pick up the back leg. If you have a wall or you're using a strap, that's great. But how much can you drive through that back heel? And yoga is about opposites. As much as you press through the heel, pull the chest forward. Work in those opposite directions. Level the pelvis, lift from the inner right thigh. Right knee to chest, round. Set the foot on the floor next to the left. Bend your knees, drop your seat, chair pose. Slowly rise, left leg comes with you. Figure 4 chair, or you know this can always be tree. Find your breath. Dorsiflex those top toes back. And then inhale, rise, left knee in. Send it back, arms are up to you. But drive through that back heel. Don't let the hip open, drop it down. If you need hands on props, that's fine. It's more about the back leg today. Step the foot way back. Downward facing dog. Look forward. Slide the right shin forward for pigeon pose. So intermission, but not really, because we're going to do something after this. So we're not into yin just yet. Take your block, if you have it, and slide it under the back thigh. So no, this is not the front hip that we normally put our props under. Now you're welcome to do that as well, but the reason it's nice to have it under the back leg is to be able to tuck the toes under and really drive back through the heel. Your front body can be on that second block or on the ground, but it's a little bit more of a lifted pigeon pose. Pigeon's not for you. You can take deer, you can take sukhasana, thread the needle. If you don't have a block, tuck your toes under in pigeon anyway and just keep driving through the heel. How active can you make that leg? All right. So go ahead and bring yourself back. Pull your chest forward, really drive through the heel, and then see if you can find your way to down dog. You can stay in down dog, or if that right leg naturally wants to lift like in the beginning and open, you're welcome to. And you might even flip the dog. Find down dog again. Slide the left leg forward, pigeon pose. Again, if you have a prop, even if you don't need it, it's not about necessity, it's about sort of training your brain to find something before it's doing it in a harder pose, right? So that prop is under the back thigh, this front hip is not on the ground, back toes are tucked under, and I'm driving through the heel. Couple more breaths. All right, walk your hands back. Lift yourself up, drive through the heel as you slowly come back into down dog. And if you want left leg lifts, open up the hip, bend the knee, maybe just tap the wall, or if you'd like, flip the dog depending on your space. All right, bring it back over, down dog. Knees down, child's pose. Rest. Okay, so we're going to tie all of that together. We're going to tie together sort of getting into the wrists, finding those elbows at shoulder width, externally rotating the hip, and kicking the back leg back as the chest moves forward. So as a reminder, when we move into this, and you can move through any parts of this you want, depending on how you're feeling. But I'm just going to use the strap again to remind you. So when we get into our poses, we want the elbow to stack over the wrist, but then that can be real scary. So you've got to move your chest forward in order to feel balance. So if you look and your elbow is behind your wrist, not great. You've really got to stack elbows in and then pull your chest forward. Okay, so we'll pull all that together into an arm balance. I'm going to use the blocks just in case you have them. They're a really nice way to get into this arm balance. Moving into flying pigeon. Okay, so if you have your blocks, have them at your mat. I'm standing just in the center of the mat because I'm going to need the full length. And we're going to go back to that figure four chair. So sit back into your chair, rise with the right leg, and cross ankle over knee. Sit back. Find your breath. And I'm probably going to do a couple of turnings here. But make sure the top toes are dorsiflexing back. Super important. Place your hands on your props. Shift them back. And already here, this is low, but I'm starting to draw the toes around the outer arm. All right, if this feels okay for you, put the blocks even lower. Or maybe your hands are on the floor, and I'm trying to get my shin as high to the armpits as I can. I'm going to wrap the toes around that tricep. Notice elbows are not over wrists, so I need to change that. I'm going to wrap, I'm going to look up, and I'm just going to tip forward. Remember in the beginning of Bakasana, we just sort of allowed the shin to rest against the triceps. Try that. Look forward. Now, if your hamstrings are not having it, don't move on. Otherwise, look ahead, tip forward. If you feel good, float the back leg. And if this is okay, push through that back heel like we did in all of our other poses. Couple of breaths. And lower. How do we do? All right, down dog. Whew. Okay, side two. So if you were like me, second set of hamstrings, not as happy. So we'll see where we go. The main thing is I usually try not to put lotion on these days because I don't want to slip off. So if you have lotion, if you're sweaty, just be mindful of that. So feet together, sit back, chair. Slowly rise, ankle over knee, find your figure four. As you sit back, it's super important to push your hips way back. Dorsiflex the toes. Take a moment here just to rest. If you feel like you're barely getting down to your props, this is your work. You can even come back up. If you're here, go ahead and bring yourself down. See if you can get the shin into the armpits or close. Wrap around the tricep with the foot. Stack elbows over wrists. Shift forward. Take time to get it set up. The second side for me often isn't as successful, so you have to really make sure it wants to be there. All right. It doesn't for me. My wrist and my hamstrings are saying no. So I'm going to listen. That's what I would want you to do. So I'm just going to stay here, come up onto the back toes, and just move into the hip opener. All right, one more breath. And release. Okay, nice job, yogis. Shift back. Down dog. And put your knees on the ground. Cross your ankles behind you. Sit behind your feet and bring your legs in front of you. Shift forward. Lift up onto your sit bones. And then take those arms out. I don't know about you, but my legs are ready to be done. But let's just take a couple of boat poses. So inhale, lean back, arms out. Exhale, bring it back. Oh, my body doesn't want to. Inhale, reach. Exhale, return. Just 3 more. Okay, lean back and hover. Eyes in line with the toes for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a moment here, let it go. Bend your knees. Roll onto your belly. So find your way over onto your belly. Take a moment here. I'm going to grab my phone that's got my nice timer on it because we'll do a few yin poses here in a moment. So just find your way into Sphinx. So your arms are in front of you. Pull your chest forward. I'm going to give us just a nice 1-minute stretch here. Not long. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to slide the right knee up like it's a half frog. So just hike the right knee up, reach your right arm forward, weave your left arm underneath. And then don't think about it too hard. Just start to lean back, roll onto your back body. You can adjust any way you need so that hip comes over and you're in a nice twist. If that didn't make sense to you, it's just a twist. Find a twist on your own. And oftentimes I see people, they have the knee down and the shoulder is up. For me personally, I like to bring the shoulder down, let the hip kind of come over, and then I can let gravity take me a little deeper. But it's personal preference. Slowing the breath down. So my hope is that you feel your heartbeat a little bit. We're getting that blood pumping through the body. Today's practice was a little bit about sacral chakra. So our ability to let go, to go with the flow. All right. Roll back onto your belly. Find your way to Sphinx. You're going to slide that left leg up like a half frog. Left arm forward, right arm underneath. And then roll yourself onto your back body. I'm just moving over so I have more space on my mat. But essentially, we're just in a nice twist. We'll do 1 minute again, so not a long hold. What's nice about the timer is that we're even. I'm sure we've all been to those classes where the teacher spends like an hour on the first side and then the second side is like a breath. So it's nice about the timer is it's exactly even. So if I ramble on and on, you know that you'll be saved by the bell at some point. Just a couple more breaths. All right. This time, stay where you are and just roll onto your back. So instead of rolling onto your belly, we're pretty much already at our back. And then from here, your knees are bent, feet are hip width apart. Reach for the edges of the mat. Peel the hips up into bridge. Walk the shoulders underneath you. And just take a moment here in your bridge pose. If you want, you can interlace the hands. I'm a big fan of using the strap that already had the loop in it. And I'm just sliding the strap on my wrists, so I'm not having to go to my elbows, but just to the wrists. And I really like this because then I can really press pinky fingers down into the ground. We'll be here a couple more breaths, or if you came out of your bridge, the next round, come in again. Maybe you have the strap over the wrists. Slowly lower. If you have the strap over your wrists, you might be able to keep it there for a moment, otherwise lower your hips. And then we'll do one more bridge. Peel up the hips. You can press pinkies down into the ground. And if you have the strap over the wrist, you can keep it there, or you can slide it up above the elbows. Yogi's choice. I have sort of robot arms. My hands are just next to my hips. You could also karate chop your hands down. Now, if you have the strap above the elbows, you might realize, oh no, I don't know how to get out. So if it's above the elbows, interlace the hands, and the strap should get loose, and then you can take one hand and slide it off and slowly lower down. Okay, take a few moments, windshield wiper the knees. All right, and then take your strap over your right foot. I'm gonna make my loop bigger. Right now it was shoulder width apart, but I'm gonna make it longer. Slide the strap over the right foot, and you can hold the strap. I'm gonna slide it over my elbows just to give my arms a little bit of a break, and then I'm gonna straighten the left leg out. You can also loop this around your body. So find your hamstring stretch. I'm gonna set our timer because we're moving into a yin version of this. We'll be here 2 minutes, so not much longer. Let's see if you can find a place where there's a bit of tension. So we're not totally relaxed. We are feeling something. But you're not at your edge either. So if we were in class, I would know that you're at your edge because your foot might be shaking, or your face might be scrunching, or might be holding your breath. And so you can notice those same things in your body. Where can you be just at your edge, but not too much? About a minute left. I'm just going to turn the other way. We're still on the right leg. And if you notice, if you've really been relaxing into your edge actually gets much deeper super quick. That's more a result of letting go than pushing into it. All right, open out to the right. And I'm actually going to use my block just because it makes it a little easier for me. So if I didn't use my block, I could do it, but oftentimes people tip too far over and we want our back nice and level. So I'm going to open out to the right. I use the block on the side like the ramp. You can hold the strap however you'd like. I'm going to do 2 minutes. And if you want, if you have a wall, use that. Instead of trying to get to the floor, can you pull that foot more towards your head? So stretching the inner thighs. And find your edge here. Let's adjust that block so it comes further out. So just as you worked super hard in your physical postures and your postures for the flow, we want to work just as hard in these yin postures. But how we work is maybe different. We're still playing our edge. But it becomes much more of a mental practice to stay committed and still. Five breaths. Okay. Bring your leg up. Switch hands. Cross the leg over. So you can press, if you have a wall like I do, feel free to press into the wall, but we want to really create some space in that hip. So find your twist. 2 minutes. If you're able to press more through that top heel, whether it's into the wall like I am, or if you're just pressing into the strap or in the air. This is for our top leg. If you want to add the bottom leg, you can always bend the knee, reach for that ankle. Then you can add a nice stretch on that bottom leg if you'd like. This pose in yin is called cat pulls its tail. Nice little visual. Use your breath. Remember, your breath is your guide. If that breath is smooth and even, you're present. If the breath is non-existent or if it's labored, it's either too challenging or you've checked out. 5 more breaths. Gently release the bottom leg if you have that. Come up to center. And then release the right leg, just sort of a mini shavasana for a second. Close the eyes and feel how different the sides are. So hopefully the right side is warm and maybe a little bit more movement. You might even feel longer on that side. Let's move to side 2 so that we can have a sense of balance. So bring the strap over your left foot. You can take your arms into that strap again. I'll set the timer. And find your edge. Now, for me, my second side, my left side, is generally not as open as the right. And I find this in my hip openers. I find this in my inversions. What leg I kick up with. And so move into this leg independently of what you did on the first side. Sometimes we just go right to where the first side went. But just like my arm balance was different today, and I sort of honored that. Notice where you are. You might honor a slightly different place. So we know by listening within, close the eyes. It was about self-study, svadhyaya. And so study yourself. Study the experience. Where is that sensation? Is it pinpointed? Is it more general? Can you recognize what it feels like to be pushing your edge or be right there? How much detail can you observe in your practice, in your experience? About 5 more breaths. Okay. Open to the left. If you have a wall or a prop, go for it. Use it. I'll set the timer. And then find your experience on this side. And again, deeper is more towards your head versus the floor. If you have a wall, you can use it. You don't need to hold the strap. As you close the eyes, notice the breath. Does it feel very localized? Or can you imagine the breath sort of traveling everywhere? Down to the toes, up to the head, out through the hands. Is there anywhere that it gets stuck? About 45 seconds left. Okay, Come back to center. Switch hands, cross the leg over, and move into your twist. Last of the series. Now if on side one, you bent the bottom knee and reached for that ankle, then do the same thing here. Commit to that whole experience. You can work through something here that feels uncomfortable or sort of tests your patience. When you leave your mat, things that do the same thing to you, you may already have the skill set to deal with those. Less than a minute left. Okay. Take a moment, little mini Shavasana again, just to compare. Bend your knees, roll to the right or whatever side you'd like. Press yourself up to seated. Okay, let's take our finishing pose. I'm going to choose Paschimottanasana seated forward fold. That just feels really nice for me. I am setting the timer, so if you want to do something for time, go for it. You can even do legs up the wall. We'll do 2 minutes, and then we'll finish with our Shavasana. And for me, I like feet hip width. We did a lot of external, so it's nice to give the low back some space here. Knees can be soft. We're not forcing this pose in any way. The knees are soft so the chest can move forward, and then you're just melting over the thighs. About a minute left. If you come out early, we're going to Shavasana. Otherwise, we've got about 5 breaths left. All right, let's make our way to Shavasana, whatever that looks like for you. And Shavasana is an asana. It is a pose. It's the most important pose. So get yourself set up. be comfortable, whatever that means for you. I'm going to actually do my blocks and then my blanket. You might have a bolster, or you can do legs up the wall. Whatever you're doing, get comfortable. I'll set the timer for 3 minutes so that we have a nice relaxing Shavasana. Okay, get settled in. Do what you need to get comfortable. Let the eyes soften, the jaw relax. Find that same place we did in the beginning where the body knows where you're going. It knows that this is the time. You can fully let it go. Enjoy Shavasana. Start to move with fingers and toes. Reach overhead, maybe yawn. Bend your knees, roll to the right. And press yourself upright to your final seat. Hands to your heart, a moment of gratitude for all the work you put into you today. Lift your chest, bow your head. Namaste.